Hello friends, welcome back to Timebox UPSC India. Today we are rolling our fourth video and it is associated with frequently asked question about the AIS branch. So we will continue our previous video and we will ask more questions about the AIS branch. So the next question about hiring procedure is, if an officer has retired from the service or expired, can he or she still be considered for inclusion in the select list? So the answer is yes. If an officer was eligible for the select list of particular year and also available for consideration on 31st December of that year, then he or she will be considered for inclusion in the select list for that year, even if he or she has retired from the services or expired in the meanwhile. For example, if an officer who was eligible for the select list of 2010 or they are retired or expired in say it's 2012 and the selection committee meeting was conducted in 2013 year, then this officer would be considered for the select list of 2010 as he was available for the consideration on 31st December of the vacancy year, which is 2010. So next question is there any provision to give the extended panel in lieu of officers included in the select list who are retired or not available for the appointment by promotion? The simple answer is no. Can an officer whose representation for expansion of adverse remarks from the ACRs is pending with the state government be included in the select list? So the answer is yes, if he is otherwise found suitable for the selection committee by ignoring such adverse remarks. However, his inclusion will be provisional, subject to expansion of such adverse remarks in terms of proviso to the Regulation 5, Section 5. The next question is whether the officers against whom disciplinary proceedings, criminal proceedings are pending be including the select list. What will be the position if they are subsequently exonerated? Will sealed covered procedure be followed in their cases? So the answer is yes. They can be included provisionally if otherwise found suitable. However, in the event of their exoneration or if the conditions leading to their provisional inclusion no longer subsist, their names can be made unconditional by the Commission in select list, provided a proposal is received from the state government within the validity period of the select list. There is no sealed covered procedure in promotions to the All India services. Next, whether an eligible officer whose integrity certificate has been withheld by the state government can be included in the select list other than non-SC/SC category. So the answer is yes. The name of the officer whose integrity certificate has been withheld by the state government may be included in the select list by the selection committee provisionally, subject to grant of integrity certificate if the selection committee finds the officer otherwise suitable for the promotion on the basis of an oral assessment of his or her ACRs. The next is whether an officer whose integrity certificate is withheld by the state government or against whom disciplinary or criminal proceedings are pending is eligible to be considered for selection to the IAS or non-SCS category. The answer is no, they are not eligible for the same. Next, when can disciplinary or criminal proceedings be treated as pending against the officer? A disciplinary or criminal proceedings shall be treated as pending only if a charge sheet has been issued to the officer or filed in a court as the case may be. Next, what is meant by categorization of officers by the selection committee meeting? In accordance with Regulation 5, Section 4 of the Promotion Regulations, the selection committee shall classify or categorize the eligible officers as outstanding, very good, good, fast food. So next is what is meant by the categorization of officers by the selection committee meeting. In accordance with Regulation 5, Section 4 of the Promotion Regulations, the selection committee shall classify or categorize the eligible officers as outstanding, very good, good and unfit as the case may be on an oral relative assessment of their service records. So the next question is there any benchmark or grading like BPCs in the preparation of the select list? So the answer is no. There is no concept of benchmark or assessment as a fit or unfit in the preparation of the select list by the selection committee. The select list is prepared by including the required number of names, first from among the officers finally classified as outstanding, then from among the similarly classified as very good, and thereafter from the among those similarly classified as a good, and the order of names inter se within each category are in the order of their seniority in the state services. Next, what are the records are assessed by the selection committee? So the selection committee makes an assessment of the ACRs and other service records of the eligible officers furnished by the state government with the special reference to the performance of the officer during the last 5 years, including the vacancy year as well. In the case of unavailability of an ACR of the year within the matrix of 5 proceedings years, how is assessment done by the selection committee? As the oral assessment of the officer cannot be withheld because of non-availability of the ACRs, the selection committee makes the categorization on the basis of available ACRs. Thus, where one or more ACRs of an officer have not been returned for a year or more on account of his or her being on a leave, training, or because no officer supervised his or her work for more than 3 months or for any other valid reason during the relevant period, the selection committee considers the ACRs of the years preceding the period of 5 years. Next is, how are the assessments made by the selection committee? So selection committee is independent to make its own assessments. The Honorable Supreme Court have also upheld this power. The selection committee wide their judgments in UPSC versus HL Development and others mentioned in 1988 SC 1069 and UPSC versus K. Pejaha and others in the year 2005-10 SCC 15. These are the court case numbers. The detailed internal guidelines framed by the Commission in this regard are posted on the websites of UPSC at upsc.gov.in. So guys, the next in the list is an officer has been graded differently by his reporting authority and reviewing or accepting